All right, we were overdue for another good upper day, just some vibes. Nothing super set in stone here, but gonna be biasing my weak points as always. And this is the upper day I've ran for probably the past year and a half now in some capacity. And I'm gonna show you pretty much how I approach every session. Obviously, you know, each session is not gonna be that different from the previous. So, you know, if you've seen some of my content on this, then obviously, you know, each session is gonna be somewhat similar. But I am always trying to make changes and trying to make improvements. And the biggest thing that's been on my mind recently over, say, the past, you know, 3 to 6 months really has been using the least amount of weight possible to make the most amount of progress. And this is something that when people first start out, they sort of avoid, but over time, as you lift for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you find becomes more important. And that is just trying to make as much progress as possible with the least amount of weight, with the least amount of wear and tear on your joints, the least amount of wear and tear in terms of your session time, you know, setting up, spending a long time moving from machine to machine, dragging plates around, you know, all those things are pretty annoying and pretty frustrating to constantly have to do. Like if you're ego lifting so bad, or not even ego lifting, say you're just lifting in a way where, you know, it's forcing you to not use super long ranges of motion, you're forced to use a ton of weight. If that's the case, then you're kind of locking yourself into a giant pain in the ass on every single exercise you ever set up. So I personally don't love that, and that's why for me, doing even simple things is important. Even something like the adductor, you know, where you place your knee on the adductor machine, right? If you place it closer to the inside, you won't be able to use as much weight. So little things like that, just to me at least, add up over time and make it a more enjoyable experience. So, oh, well, this is stuck. It got sticky, weird, sticking together. Anyways, okay, 22 is done. We're gonna start with exactly what I did last time, which was 33 pounds. So again, not a giant amount of weight, but my goal is to keep my upper arm bone here, the humerus, stable the entire time. So we don't want any of this. This is something I've had trouble with in the past, keeping that shoulder actually locked down. Pretty important to me to try to, you know, hone in on the technique, especially in movement patterns that my body doesn't love doing, this being one of them, scapular retraction being another one. So there's just a few movement patterns that my body doesn't love to do. So I do spend a lot of time really focusing on executing them properly. So we're gonna do some tricep extension. We're fully warmed up now. It's also very hot in Florida, so I'm not necessarily worried about, you know, doing anything to reach a certain core temperature. So we're gonna start with the left side. Well, actually, we gotta put the right weight on. There we go. Okay, left side, you know, same thing we pretty much always do. Same exact type of extension we always do. And here we go. That was definitely one RIR, and we're gonna move on to the right side. All right, now we're running up the right side, and even simple things that you can pay attention to. Okay, so I try to hook the weight on as close to my fingers as possible, because I know that if I hook it closer to my fingers, I'm not gonna be able to use as much weight because it's just me a longer moment arm. So if the weight's here, in a sense, you're only extending here, right? But if the weight's here, all the way at the bottom of your hand, there's a larger distance, right? So that's gonna make it tougher to execute. So this limits the amount of weight I can use, which I really, really enjoy. So here we go. We're gonna hook in here, put our fingers here. We only got 33 pounds. We'll see what we can do here.
There's a new flavor in town, the Jalapeno Ranch Love Chick-fil-A. With that juicy Chick-fil-A, rich and spicy or grilled chicken, whole ranch bun, candy bacon, jack cheese, and jalapeno dip sauce. It's got big ranch pockets with a little heat.
Your elbows will like you a lot more. Right, so that was a pretty good starting set. We did 33 pounds for 4 with 1 in the tank in the left, 33 for 6, probably 1 or 0 in the right. And now we're gonna lighten the weight ever so slightly. It's the small little trick I like to do. So that was 33 pounds. We're gonna go to 32.5. And that might not sound like a lot, but that actually is percentage-wise a pretty big jump. I mean, think about it. We probably went down 2 or 3% in total weight. So I'll probably probably get around the same reps, maybe 5 or 6. And I don't care if I have 1 rep in the tank or 0. It's not super critical, but I just don't like to grind out that last rep where it's like excruciating to get down, because again, it's not necessary and it's gonna impede the rest of your session. I mean, obviously it's a bigger deal if you're on a compound than like an isolation like this. And sometimes I just say screw it and, you know, gun the rep, but you know, not always. So here we go. We got the left side. You know, we'll probably get around 4, 5, or 6 if I had to guess, somewhere in that range. And here we go. You ready? Same thing we just did. Yeah, that was a rep I probably could have done without, but whatever. That was 6, 0. So we're gonna run back to the right side, keep going. All right, and on to our second set. What I like to do is if I'm doing this bilaterally, so if I'm doing this at the same time, maybe with a seat belt or something on a lat pull down, or just any kind of straight bar push down variation, I'll do maybe 3 sets. If I'm doing it unilateral, gonna be more muscle damage accrued, gonna be a little bit more stimulus to each side, and a longer session duration, so I'll probably do 2 sets. Again, not super critical, we don't need to sweat any of this, I'm just telling you what I do. So, because this is unilateral, I'll probably do 2 sets. And then we'll move into my back work, chest work, and all that. And I don't mind putting this before chest because my triceps are such a weak point on me, they really do need to come up. They've gotten better, but like they definitely could come up on the whole. So this is a priority for me. So we really, really want to make sure we do this good and we put it at the beginning. And I don't care what sacrifice comes from that, that's worth it. So anyways, we got 27, we got 32. Part of me thinks we just go up to 33. I think we're going to because my right side is stronger and I'm not dying to get like 11 reps. I'd rather get like 5. So we'll just do the right side here. Same thing, grabbing it here with the fingers so that we can't use as much weight. And here we go. We'll probably get around 5 or 6. All right, that was 5. Done with triceps, we're gonna keep moving. All right, now on to one of the most important things I do. This is for upper back. This hammer strength is actually really, really solid. People don't realize how good this machine is. But for me, at least, as someone who really does struggle with retracting my scapula, pulling my blades together, again, my body just doesn't love that movement pattern. So using a machine like this is just incredible. People say, oh, Matt, but aren't you pulling from in front of you? Aren't you pulling from the sagittal plane? And it's like, well, kinda, I guess. And we're getting some lat, that's fine. But I'm still retracting my scapula, and that's the most important thing here. So if this machine allows me to do that while getting some indirect lat volume, then so be it, you know? So we're gonna warm up here. We got 2 plates just to feel it out. Here we go, you ready? Love that, man. Love that. Feels great. And you know, I'm not a big sensation chaser, but I mean, it's nice to feel your upper back working. So that was 2 plates too, just a quick little warm up. That felt good. Keep your chest proud. You know, I like to think about really not using any momentum. I dig my whole like pelvis into the rod here and just really keep myself straight. So last time we did 35, 2 plates in the 35, so we'll probably do that again. And last time we got that, I think, for 6 with 1 in the tank. So we're gonna try to replicate that at least and see if we get something more. But you know, it's weird, man. I'm actually running on Echovision Dethroner right now for the first time in a while. I was wearing a ton of Echo clothes, but I haven't been running any Echo Pre's in a while. And I'm running Dethroner today, man. And holy moly, dude, this thing is insane. Like, the pump from this is incredible. You know, it's weird. Going to the gym maybe for the past 6 months or a year has been for me, very methodical and very almost robotic in a way. It's just like something I do. You know, I equate it with like brushing my teeth, right? It's like your hygiene. Whether I want to or not, I go. I train either way, right? But every once in a while, you get those moments where you're like, damn, I really enjoy this. And this is one of them. And again, you're gonna have better performance when you enjoy it anyway. So, you know, right now is one of those days where I'm actually truly liking lifting. And man, that helps. You know, pump feels good today. So yeah, I haven't had that feeling in a while. It's been a while since I've had that sensation. So it's kind of nice. So anyways, enough bullshitting. 2 plates and 35. Here we go. Same thing we always do. You ready? Okay. Tie in, versa grips, tie in, going as wide as I can. Trying to keep my back straight. Here we go. Oh, that was nice. That was definitely 6 really good reps. Maybe had one more, but I'll take it. That was some nice execution. So we're gonna do another one of these, and then we'll run a Kelso, and I'll show you the Kelso when we get there. You know, it's not like it's fucking rocket science or anything, man, but you should be able to feel the muscle you're training to some extent most of the time. So if I do an upper back row, which I just did, you know, I finish it and my traps, rhomboids, I'm sore. Not sore, but you know, you feel it worked, right? If you're doing an upper back row and you don't feel any upper back activation whatsoever, you know, maybe you're not targeting your upper back that well. And then same thing with lats or biceps or anything else, right? So it's not that sensation is always the be all end all, because it's not. But there probably should be some indicator that the muscle you're trying to train, you actually trained. So we just did 2 sets of upper back. Now I got one more set of a Kelso just for good measure. I always throw in. I usually add a 45 on each side for this because there's less range of motion, so I can use more weight here. But we're going to throw on a 45. So now it's 3 plates and a 45 on each side. And we're just gonna bang it out. It's just a little bit of extra trap volume for me. My traps and triceps have needed to come up for the past, you know, year and a half now, pretty much. And I think we've done a pretty good job of bringing them up. They definitely do look more proportional, but I still like to put them at the beginning of the workout because that's where the most emphasis is. That's where the most neural drive is, you know? So we're gonna go for probably about 7 or 8, if I had to guess from my performance last time. So we're gonna tie in and see what we can do. I also like to dead stop this movement as well, just to standardize each rep. So here we go. Let's see what we can do. Ready? Tie in. Here we go. All right. That was a hair less than I thought, but whatever. Each rep was pretty good, so I'll take it. We're gonna keep going. And we're on to chest. And it's crazy that I only do 2 sets of chest and still progress, but this is literally what I've been doing for a long time, and it's been working very nicely. So I'm not gonna rock the boat. Again, the chest does not recover quite as well as most other muscles due to its makeup. So you can't really do, you know, 10 sets of chest on Monday and then come in on Wednesday, try to do the same thing. That's unlikely. So I like to stay well below that recovery threshold and just, you know, train pretty hard each time and get stronger. So, you know, these sets have been progressing quite nicely, I'll tell you that. The only thing I don't love is on my shoulder, you know. My shoulders get a little cranky on this, and it's fine, but, you know, I wish they were slightly less cranky. I find if I come out like this, if I come more flared out, they're crankier, but if I come a little bit more in, a little bit more tucked, they seem to behave a little better. So we're starting with more of an upper chest emphasis here with this neutral grip. Oh, that just feels amazing, man. Every time I do that, I'm like, wow. So we're gonna do, I think the pin on 15. That's what I did last time. The pin is on 15. And last time I got this for 4 with 1 in the tank. So we'll probably replicate that. Again, I like to keep the reps low on chest. I like to keep a rep in the tank. I like to make sure I'm well within that recovery bracket. So I'm gonna come in here again in 72 hours, do the exact same thing. So again, this works for me. You don't have to do this, but this has been what I've been running for a while, and my chest has grown nicely. So with that, okay, we gotta bring the heat though. We gotta bring the heat, all right? Pin on 15, come kind of close. Here we go. Ready? Okay. All right, run it up. Wow, that was weak. Last time we did this at the beginning of the lift. Now we're doing it near the end. Makes a difference, man. Whew. Holy shit. So in a situation like that where I just got 3, we're just gonna do another set. So I'll do 3 total sets of chest. I'll live. But yeah, last time we did it for 4, 1 in the tank, that was near the beginning. This time we did it for 3, and honestly more like 0 in the tank. So I'm just gonna rest up and do another set. Not tragic. That's just a part of it, man. I mean, there's gonna be so many ups and downs and hiccups along the way. If you're training for 10 years, 15 years, and you wanna do this for a lifetime, there's gonna be a lot of hiccups, and that's just something you're gonna have to deal with. You know, I go through these phases where I really enjoy lifting and I think about it all the time, and I'm posing in the mirror and I'm tracking my progress. And then other times, man, it's like, damn, no drive, no willpower, no motivation, but the discipline just gets it done. It's just something you do. It just becomes a part of your life. You know, people think that I love the gym or something. I come and I train. There are times where I really enjoy it. There are times where I don't, like any other hobby, right, or any other activity. But I'll say, if you can try to like it, I think that helps. If you can try to like it, I think for the most part, that will carry a lot of weight. That will do you good long term if you try to enjoy what you're doing. You're gonna come with more passion, more vigor. You don't have to use this discipline window to like fight everything. You don't have to fight your way through with discipline. You can just train, enjoy it, and the motivation carries you a lot of the way. You save the discipline, you save the double scoop in your pre, you save that for times you really need it, for times you worked a double shift, or you had a bad night of sleep, or you're really tired. That's what you save that for. You know, I don't like to have to dig into the, you know, demons in my mind to come fucking hit a set of bicep curls, right? It's just excessive, it's not necessary. So with that, I think we rambled enough. We're gonna do another set. I don't know if I'm fully rested, but my camera's running out of SD card space, so we're gonna have to say we're rested. Okay, you ready? Here we go, same thing we just did. All right, we went a pin up, but that was very nice execution. So we're gonna do a set of flat press and keep going. Flat press, here we go. All right. All right, and lat pull down. Don't mean to be in a rush, but the SD card's running out of storage, and I still want to pose. So finish up. You ready? Here we go. All right, we're gonna do some curls and we're gonna pose. Then we're done. And we just did a couple sets of curls and one set of a single arm cuff lateral raise. And now we're here. So just getting a little posing in, This lighting is sick, dude. This lighting is sick. This low key might be the best lighting I've ever posed in, to be honest with you. Sick, dude.